So I got a little bit of a different adventure for you guys this time. Calling this one a 4-day, 3-night mountain bug out test. So the thing with a bug out test is A, you got to see if you can survive with the gear you brought along, and B, you got to see how many miles you can cover. So super lightweight, a little bit of a pack there. Got a $10 kid sled I'm dragging, and I'm carrying my favorite 20 gauge shotgun for predator protection. Honestly, did not bring much else. I've got no tent this time, no bucket stoves of any kind for heating. You can essentially be relying on a 0-degree bag, my parka, and a campfire. So come on along, I'm gonna unpack this piece by piece as I go over the next 4 days. Honestly, I'm not sure if I'm gonna survive that long. I'm gonna do my best for you. It should be interesting. Because I got a kind of a late start. I want to push for about 2 more miles. That should get me to about 5. Temperature's already -7, so it's cooling off. I've been making camp in the dark, but you know what? There isn't much camp to make, so let's press on. I should just tell you, obviously I'm familiar with these mountains and this area, although I've never been to this particular spot in the wintertime. I've camped there in the summer. But why not, in a bug out situation anyway, have a plan. Get to, especially the first night, somewhere that you're familiar with. You know you're going to be safe. Okay, so I made it. You know, honestly, not a whole lot here. A little bit of a flat spot, some trees. There's a creek about 20 yards away, and I was hoping that was still flowing. There is a little bit of water there, so that's really why I wanted to get here. These trees here, that's somewhere where I'm going to be sleeping tonight. But I got these thin gloves on and just a base layer. I got to get some warmer clothes on, warmer gloves. My thumb is starting to just get pretty cold. So I've got a little bit of a lightweight tarp set up here, just in case it snows. It's pretty calm right now. I think that'll be just fine for now. Try and keep it quick and easy. Underneath me, I've got my automotive sunscreen again. So that's going to be a little bit of an insulator. And then I've got that 5x7 foil and poly tarp. I'll just show you the temperature here. It's -13 Celsius, not that cold, so I haven't got a big fire going yet. So I cut down a tomato juice can before I left home, just tall enough so that it fits inside my 1-liter pot. And I'm going to melt a little bit of snow here. Creek just looks a little bit sketchy. Can't tell exactly where the bank leaves off. So for tonight, melt some snow this way. Get a little bit of water in me. So that little tin can is working not too bad. No question, I wish it was a little bit taller, would draft a little better, but it's melting snow and heating water. So I'm going to make some dinner here. So got some survival rations tonight. You guys have all seen me eat instant mashed potatoes, but I only brought 1 package for 3 days. So I'm going to have a third of a package in that pot of water. Going to make some soup. So for a little bit of flavoring, I got a beef bouillon cube, package of ketchup, and then to get some calories in there, I brought some lard along. Adds a lot of calories and also some fat, which your body needs. So I think everything's all dissolved there. You see the lard's kind of floating to the top, but I gotta tell you, I am really looking forward to potato ketchup, beef, lard soup for dinner. So it's just about 9 o'clock and time to unpackage the rest of my sleep system here tonight. And those of you that follow my channel and know how I do this, you'll know that I rely on a down parka. This one's manufactured by OSC, Outdoor Survival Canada, up here in Canada. And it works really well. Excellent parka, rated -40. And waterproof, which is kind of nice because I'm basically sleeping outdoors here with a little bit of a tarp over me, and so that's going to be a really nice component here tonight. Protecting my legs, I've got a lightweight 0-degree sleeping bag. Now it's -12 Celsius here right now, so well colder than this, but the jacket's going to keep my core warm enough that this bag will function fine just to keep my feet and toes warm. So it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I've been sleeping off and on here for the last couple of hours. Temperatures dropped a little bit, -15 on the thermometer now. I did see a -17 at one point. But overall, I'm doing not too bad. Obviously, I got the parka on, sleeping bag pulled up as high as I can here. Anything that I don't want to freeze is in the bag with me. Water bottles in here, and boot liners are in here. I'm actually wearing those, and so they're keeping my feet kind of toasty. But overall, doing pretty good. So it's about 8:30 in the morning, and had a pretty good night last night. Got pretty cold at one point, about minus 18 Celsius at 1 in the morning. Just kind of getting things organized here before I get up and get those frozen boots back on. And try to do as much as I can while I'm still warm till I have to put everything away. And then once I'm up and packed up, I'm going to hit the trail again. Well, sometimes things don't always work out as you planned. The creek that I thought was going to be here has washed out the trail, and there's a little bit of a debris field left behind. So I think I'm just going to stop here for the night. Hiked or snowshoed about 5 miles, 8 kilometers, and I think that's far enough. It's about 2 o'clock. Give me a little bit extra time to set up camp. Found a bit of a flat spot in this clump of trees here, and I'm going to knock out some of the branches and see what I can do with it. So I managed to get this spot all cleared out here. Got the pack and the belt hanging up on a couple of short branches I left on that tree there. Melting a little bit of snow for some water, getting a little bit low. And that's where I'm going to pull the tarp out a little bit later. And just a little corner over on this side to lay the bags out. So I got some water heating there. It's time to make some dinner. Let's just go back and take a look at our hydrating beans here. Those have been in there all day. It's about 5 o'clock here now. And you can see some of the chia seeds kind of floating around there. They'll puff up pretty good. I did have a few sips of this. And you just got to make sure you don't choke on those seeds. But I don't mind them at all. My wife put some raw in her oatmeal in the morning, so they're not going to hurt you. So I'm going to see if I can scoop a few spoons out of there. I've got one of these long handled spoons, so that's going to help a little bit. And I don't even know if I can do this with 2 hands here. Probably not, but I'll just give you an idea. I'll give it a stir here. The green one is the mung bean, the kind of the white puffy ones, that's the chia seeds, and the other one's the quinoa, the kind of the brownish one there. So you can drain the water off, you can fry this, you can put it in your pot and kind of stew it up and everything will thicken up a little bit. Those chia seeds are actually a little bit of a thickener. So that bean soup is coming along nicely. To that I'm going to add a little bit of lard, probably about a tablespoon, and another beef bouillon cube for flavor. I got almost a full liter of soup here. Let's give it a last little bit of a stir. Pour some of the broth in the cup. Spoon out some beans. And enjoy some dinner. Alright guys, bon appetit. Now I'm going to go with my lightweight sleeping bag again, and of course my down parka. But seeing so as I haven't got anything over top of my head, I'm going to try out one of these SOL Escape Bivvies. Now you guys have probably seen these in your camping store. Basically it's a waterproof, breathable outer bag. So I'm going to put my sleeping bag inside this. If it snows, hopefully that'll keep the snow off, the moisture off. The only thing is I haven't tried this yet, so I'm hoping that it's big enough to accommodate everything that I want to put in it. We'll give it a try here tonight. It's about 10:30 and I've been sleeping really well for the last hour, and before I went to bed I put my sleeping bag in this SOL Escape Bivvy. But I got to tell you, I just woke up and the top portion of my bag, my parka, everything was completely drenched with moisture coming out of that bag. So this thing is supposed to be fully breathable, and at -7 here anyway, It is not. All the moisture is coming right out the top and collecting on my sleeping bag. So I think I averted a little bit of a mini disaster here. If I hadn't have done anything, I would have been completely drenched by morning and probably frozen. So it's just before 8 o'clock in the morning, and obviously I survived another night here. It wasn't quite as cold last night, only about -7, but I have to tell you, I felt a little bit colder. I don't know if that little episode with the bivy bag there played into that, but I did have one fewer layers underneath me because the foil tarp was acting as a windbreak. And I didn't have my sill tarp over top of me protecting me against the elements. So just before I head out today, melting some snow to fill up the water bottle there. And I did get a little bit of frost on the foot of the sleeping bag, so I'm just thawing that out, drying the bag out a little bit. It's pretty much done. Gonna get packed up and get out of here. Well, it's day 3, about noon, and by all rights I should be heading back towards the truck. But you know, I haven't been this far on this trail before, and I just couldn't resist going a little further. And I'm glad I did. I'll just give you a quick shot of the mountains there. They're in a little bit of cloud cover, but absolutely stunning views from here. I think that's about as far as I can go here. The GPS says 20 kilometers from the truck. I got to be back tomorrow night. It's already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So time to backtrack down off this ridge a little bit and make camp for the night. Well, a little bit of hard hiking here this afternoon. Thankfully, most of it downhill. And I'm back at the spot I camped at the first night. Lost the daylight, so quickly threw up a tarp shelter. This is a typical A-frame using the 9x12 sill tarp, and I've got a space blanket over the end. And that's just paper clipped on there, a bit of a rock on the bottom, holding that down. Log on each side with a little bit of rope just holding each side down, and of course, a typical ridge line on the top. So I've got the water heating on the soup can stove there, and I know I promised you something extra special for dinner tonight. So we are going to have 2/3 of a bag of mashed potatoes with a beef bouillon cube pre-mixed into the water, and the extra special part is a can of liver pate. Now I have to tell you, I don't particularly like liver pate, but here's a little tip for you. If you want to acquire a taste for something, carry it around in your pack for a few days and eat it for dinner on the last night, and it's going to taste pretty darn good. So I'm going to try and do this with one hand here while holding the camera with the other. I don't know how successful I'll be. There we go. And into the mashed potatoes. Give it a good stir. Smells delicious. But the last couple of nights I've been wearing a really lightweight 0-degree sleeping bag. Tonight I'm going to put that aside and go with this. Now I've got it partially out of this little sack already, but what it is, it's a sleeping bag liner. This is Sea to Summit Thermalite Fabric Reactor Extreme. And what it's designed to do is keep your sleeping bag up to 10 degrees warmer. Well, I'm going to try it without a sleeping bag here tonight. I've got my thermal boot liners on, so my toes are got a little bit of a head start there. But I'm going to slip into this and see if it's enough to keep my feet from freezing. Well, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning here, and I just wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up on the sleeping bag liner. And I can tell you that as a sleeping bag to keep my feet warm, even though I had my boot liners on, it just wasn't enough. So in the end, I had to grab the sleeping bag. I left the liner on, but you know, with the parka on and everything else on, I was almost too warm here last night. It was only -5. It was a little bit windy, which was kind of fun. Had to get up and make some repairs about 2 o'clock in the morning, but that's all right. It all adds to the adventure. So time to get up and get on with the day. Well, I'm all packed up and on the way out of here. It's been quite an adventure these past 4 days. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching the video. If you get a chance, subscribe. Appreciate that. And until next time, try and stay warm.